There's a lot of hype and attention in the crypto markets right now. And if you're smart, you only need to focus your attention towards coins and cryptos that are fundamentally extremely strong, but are yet to see a lot of this hype and attention, because that's where the next best opportunity lies and where I think we're going to see the most growth going forward. And the fact that a load of fanboys are going to be writing down below how much they hate these projects is more fuel to make me even more convinced that these are the next coins that are going to rally. Hit that like button and let's get into it. Now, before we focus and look into the charts and a little bit more about ICP and Quant, I want to focus on some other bits and pieces from the past. All the way back at the beginning of this year, which in the world of crypto feels like forever ago. I think you'll agree with me. At that time, I made a video about Solana when it was around $9. And in the comments, I get this guy who was well and truly prepped for Movember around 11 months early saying, no way, I don't want SBF to dump his Solana on me. This other guy, Solana is 100% security and will drop under $1 like FTX, Celsius, and Luna. Of course, Sol was already $1. You'll learn soon, blah, blah, blah. And guess what I'm getting now in my current videos when I mention certain types of coins out there? ICP, yuck, blah, blah, blah. Okay, ICP getting a lot of bad press. Also, if we start to mention Quant or any coin recently that hasn't been getting that kind of hype and attention, you'll get everyone running in and being like, yeah, this is crap, it's not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. We're literally only about 2 weeks into an altcoin season. Potentially, we'll be seeing the market like having general upside. Not every day, of course, we will have significant pullbacks at times, but general kind of upside potentially for the next 2 years. Who even knows, okay? If that is the case, then you've got a lot of time coming, but you want to focus on the coins now that are fundamentally really strong, but are yet to see that hype and attention. Now, this year, I've put a lot of emphasis and hype towards coins that weren't getting the attention perhaps that fundamentally they deserve, but were getting negative press because of some bad things that happened in the past. And all the people who were slamming ICP and stuff who've already clicked off this video because they've already lost their attention span won't be aware of this particular thing. ICP, when it first launched a couple of years ago, basically absolutely rallied towards the upside and then wrecked everyone down towards the downside. Loads of people then were running off calling it a scam, but the real reason, the real truth behind what happened there was the SBF of FTX heavily invested in Solana, saw ICP as a threat to Solana. He then bought a huge amount of futures contracts into ICP, pumping the price aggressively, and then dumped them all, causing a massive crash in the price, completely destroying everyone who bought the ICO or the initial coin offering. This then left ICP completely forgotten about because everyone didn't want to be involved in a project that had just done this. So SBF's plan worked. But if you were able to have the patience to go across to Internet Computer and have a little delve into how this project is built and how it's really going to change the future when it comes towards Web3 and the development of the future internet, then it's going to really change things. And I would recommend checking out this video that I made about ICP about a month or so ago, because I break down in more detail what ICP is all about and how it really works. But you can basically see the speed at which ICP is working. ICP is about 10 million times cheaper and more efficient than using Ethereum. It combats the problem of global cloud services from Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud Services, and others, which make up a multi-trillion-dollar per year industry that causes the internet to be way more centralized, expensive, and not as useful as it potentially could be if it was built on Internet Computer. Basically, a complete internet being built decentralized on the blockchain. Now, unlike lots of other crypto projects that through the bear market have really struggled, Internet Computer hasn't really struggled at all. It's in a very strong position because it still has a huge amount of venture capital funding behind it, which allows it to basically continue developing at a crazy rate. They're now starting to explore deals, one with Ethereum and various others all the time, and they're one of the more active companies over on social media, which is positive to see. But the most exciting thing and most important thing about ICP actually is what's happening on the charts. We will dive across and take a look at that after we have a look at Quant. Now, earlier on this year, when not many cryptos at all were moving, Quant was quite heavily talked about. ICP got a little bit of exposure, but most of these projects were getting exposure because of the quality behind them. Now what you're finding is everyone just focusing on the coins that have been rallying hard recently, and every YouTuber kind of going along with that flow as well, because everyone's much nicer to you when you tell them that their coin that they bought is going to carry on going up. And that's obviously because of all that confirmation bias and all that good stuff. But there's also something else that I feel I should bring to your attention right now when it comes to crypto. A lot of people who are like buying certain coins or whatever, they're going up, they're like, oh, I'm in like this team together with you, mate, you know, blah, blah, blah. brilliant. Like, we're all gonna like go and we're on this journey together, like diamond hands. I'm not selling for anyone. First of all, if you are one of those people who are like diamond hands, have an absolute word with yourself. Look, Gala guys, back in the last bull market, from here went all the way up to here. What was that? 8,700%. These diamond hand legends who were buying in down here probably then got all the way back down to this point where they were from that bottom point here, maybe up 30%. There's nothing macho or cool about like holding on to crypto bags forever. You need to get a new hobby. But more importantly, there's this kind of like pack herd mentality when it comes to crypto. Crypto's not a team sport. Yeah, we have like communities and it's good to like help and support each other in order to be able to grow. But when it comes to like a specific coin, for you to be able to make profit on that coin, someone else needs to lose. Let me give you an example. Let's say you go and buy an iPhone for like $500 or $1,000, right? Imagine I go and buy this iPhone for like $1,000 and then in 10 months time, I then go and try and sell it to my mate for like $35,000. I'm like, yeah, it's a good deal. iPhones for everyone. It doesn't work like that, okay? Someone's gonna get absolutely wrecked for you to be able to sell profitably to them, okay? And if that's not something that you can really stomach and really live with, then just go and buy USDT and make yourself 9% a year. Because actually that's not a bad one, all right? And you know, praise you for not taking money from someone else because they're just gonna lose it to someone else. Anyway, rant over. Breathe again. Quant, okay, foundation of the blockchain economy. Really one of the more exciting projects from what it was achieving through the bear market than most other projects out there, right? Because they have been partnering up with the Bank of England. They've been doing deals with loads and loads of government type organizations. Now, a lot of people don't like Quant because perhaps some things they're working on, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Lots of people within the kind of crypto purist community don't really like the concept of centralization of control, you know, banks and governments basically having optimal control over people. Pretty much, in my opinion, if they want to do it, it's going to happen. If you don't want to be subject to it, then, you know, maybe move to the Antarctic. But if you're a flat earther, that probably doesn't exist. So maybe you can't go there. So I don't really know where you're going to go. You're basically done, guys. Anyway, then, Quant, like ICP, looks phenomenal on the charts. Circulating supply pretty much fully out there. Non-inflationary, less coins out there than Bitcoin. Massive deals with the Bank of England, various banks in the US, and building relationships with UBS and basically half of this area in bank in London. Now, similar to ICP, it's moving towards like borderless, bridgeless kind of payments and things like that. This, if we can imagine mass adoption and things happening, I think the likes of Quant will be the ones that kind of make the most of what's going to happen over the next couple of years. Now, you may have gathered that this is not the most technical breakdown you'll ever have of either of these two projects. I have done videos on both of these before. I talked about in much more detail what these projects do and other bits and pieces. But if you really want a nerdy technical breakdown, then I highly recommend going and checking out like Coin Bureau, who does great videos on pretty much every coin out there, but has got a good one on Quant and a really good one, although a little perhaps dated, on ICP. Now, as we look into Quant, you can see market cap sat around $1.1 billion with a B, but circulating supply just over 80%, which is very positive. Volume also picking up as well, which is quite nice to notice. And then looking into internet computer, okay, we can see market cap sat around $1.9 billion at the moment. Fully diluted market cap 2.1. So basically similar sort of size, give or take a little bit, okay? Now, something I shared in my free Telegram, which is linked down below in the description, earlier on, was this particular image. Now, this particular image is really important because lots of people are like, oh, that's going to go up like 100 million and 100 billion and all these different numbers like that. This just visualizes how much money we're really talking about. I think lots of people fail to understand what really $1 billion or $1 trillion looks like. So this is a very good image to kind of keep us realistic about where a particular market cap can go. The bottom one is $1 trillion. That's a football pitch of crates like this, okay? And you can see this guy here, without his fee, $1 million, okay? This crate here represents 100 million. This crate, all this over here represents 1 billion. So 100 billion is quite a lot. And down below, you can see the football pitch. Very important. Now we've got all that good stuff out of the way. Right now, why I'm so kind of intrigued by ICP and Quant is not only fundamentally are they extremely strong, but the charts they're putting out there right now look very favorable, okay? Now, obviously, you need to do your own research, not just invest because maybe I've talked about it. Otherwise, you'll get wrecked at some point. And maybe I've talked about a coin in the past and you did really well and you're like, this guy's a legend, he knows what he's talking about. That was maybe the time I got lucky, okay? Maybe another time I won't be so lucky. And neither will you if you just dive in without knowing the risks. So right now we're seeing lots of projects pumping. Why are they pumping? Well, fundamentals perhaps, maybe smaller market caps, maybe just the hype and attention that's flowing towards them right now. There's not a huge amount of money entering into the entire crypto market space right now, given that Bitcoin's still sat where it is. Bitcoin's market cap, somewhere around $500 billion. That's half of that football pitch, okay? Whereas like other projects that might be sat around $1 billion right now, we now know from looking at those different crates how much the Bitcoin one really makes up for all that. So what we really need to see is a big kind of push in Bitcoin, and then we'll start to see some of these other bigger projects like ICP and Quant as well starting to push. ICP though, on the charts, again, we've got this classic, and all these, pretty much every chart has done exactly the same recently. They've been tipping down, squeezed into this kind of like green buy zone area where they eventually bounce, and then you can see they come into contact with the red trend line here. Once this red trend line breaks, fundamentals kind of go out the window, okay? As long as it's fundamentally sort of strong enough, maybe it will start getting the hype and attention that it deserves, okay? A drive from here, if we're able to break beyond this kind of red line, which should happen soon enough, 75% to sort of 80% up at these levels, and then we're looking, you know, theoretically, you could be looking towards this high 230%, which I do believe could come around very much quicker than anticipated for a lot of people. And look, you can compare it with Avalanche. These projects, right, they're just sat a little bit behind everything else. So Avalanche did this, came down, it broke up against this high, and then look at it, bang. From that high, that point there, it rallied to the next kind of leg up, 95%. ICP sat there right now, hasn't hit that line yet. If it rallies to that next point, which is the equivalent pretty much of what Avalanche did, then you're looking around 70 to 80%, okay, 69 to 80%, somewhere in that little region there, okay? And I'm not saying that Avalanche is going to continue going up. I'm just saying that if you're really like unsure, you're not that keen on diving into projects that have done this, then have a look at the ICPs and whatever, because of this. If Bitcoin takes a rollover and suddenly like craps the bed, all these like avalanches and whatever else that have been pumping really hard recently will come down so aggressively that it's not even worth thinking about, okay? So be cautious of that. However, coins that are yet to see much in terms of pumpage, they really, you know, aren't really going to kind of dump that aggressively if, you know, the markets have a little subside down as well. This is what? Quant. Again, look, trickle, get down to this little green box, bounces up, has a bit of a retest, and then like back towards that kind of previous high. What, 28% is not amazing. Here, 64%. But really, like, this is a price that we saw from Quant back October last year, $220. Highly likely that if you see Bitcoin pushing towards 50k and Quant actually has a sustained breakout, that in the shorter spaces of time, we could be looking towards that. Now, in the longer term, where do I see the likes of Quant going? Well, if we look at previous all-time highs for Quant, which is not exactly mind-blowing, you're going to see 340%, okay? And I think given all the stuff that's coming up, given the market cap size and all that good stuff like that, Quant realistically could be looking at 10x. Okay, maybe a little bit more if things go really well for it. I'm not going to sit in the camp and tell you that it's going to go to like $50,000 a token. Maybe in the future, down the line, but who cares about that, okay? We're in for the next bull market in the next year to 2 years. Realistically, Quant, maybe a good 10x. Be quite happy to get a 10x from Quant. You should be quite happy to get a 10x from anything, to be honest. Now, as you can see, the previous data for ICP shows you this kind of FTX crash that happened here, where everyone still seems to think that it's a scam, or the people who don't read at least think it's a scam. Whereas if you come up towards this sort of high here, I think that would be a reasonable idea or anticipated price somewhere around the kind of $81 range. Maybe in a good bull market could come up to around $100, which, you know, would be more towards the sort of 20x. I think ICP really could start to build hype and excitement behind it, because this project is actually very cool and very interesting once people start to forget about that kind of bad blood that's in the system. They forgot about the bad blood in the system for Solana, and look what happened to it. They're going to forget about it with Gala and all the others as well. Obviously, I recommend going and reading more about these different projects. ICP and Quant have actually very interesting and very detailed websites, although maybe a little bit complex if you are newer to the game. Now, if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, then make sure you get into the inner circle, guys, link down below in the description, where I give you every day my daily chart analysis of what's happening on various different projects. We called Ethereum before it happened. We called Bitcoin before it happened. We picked out this call perfectly on Avalanche and various others. And this can all be found down below in the description. As well as that, you can chat with other users around the world, some of which who are absolute experts in crypto working full time and will gladly share their knowledge with you if you have any questions or problems at all. They are also sharing their daily chart analysis all the time. And perhaps the most exciting cherry on the cake when it comes to this. Bearing in mind, this is just $10 per month, and there's other guys out there trying to charge you $100 for absolutely terrible stuff. You're going to get on top of all this kind of like data and calls and all that good stuff, an opportunity to be able to enter into the venture capital fund. This will enable you to invest alongside us before projects even go to ICO. That means that we can invest alongside venture capital funds like a Binance Labs, which is what we did in the last project, and Binance Labs from seed funding rounds average an all-time high of 185x, and you can invest alongside us and alongside them, because normally most people need $100,000 or more per investment to be able to invest. But fortunately, we pool everyone's money together, and that enables you to get in for much smaller amounts, but still allows you to act like a whale for basically much less money. There's literally no other opportunity like this out there. And at the moment, we're charging $10 per month. And you have an opportunity to lock in that $10 per month. But soon, for new people, we will be increasing the price. If you lock in that $10, it will never increase on you, but we might be increasing the price for those new people entering in very soon. So don't miss out, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you very soon in another video.